welcome in. I'm your host, Siva. Welcome to the Peace and Love podcast or YouTube channel, wherever you're receiving this transmission. Maybe you're picking up on the fall vibes, but it's getting colder. We're getting cozy. So grab your tea. I've got my green juice that's actually orange over here. If you're watching, you can see. And I invite you to just relax for this time because we're going to talk about something super important today. So let's get right to it. This is something that I was inspired to make because it's really the number one thing that you need to know as a divine, powerful creator that you are. If you didn't know it already, I'm coming from the context that you are a divine creator that can create whatever you want for your life, whether that be a dream job, the dream partner, whatever the case may be. We know that we can create it. Some people call this manifestation, reality creation, skipping timelines, whatever you want to call it. You know that you are a creator and that you have the power to create whatever you'd like for your life. You have the responsibility to make your life your own. But as with any game, there are rules, there are procedures to how things work on this planet we call Earth. So part of the game is figuring out, how do you even create? Although you're doing it all the time, how do we use this power to create intentionally and create the life that we want? Because as a divine creator, you can create your own personal heaven on earth. That being said, you can also create your own hell. So today we're going to talk about your most valuable commodity that you have as a reality creator that wants to create their own personal paradise and manifest their dreams. We're going to talk about what this tool is, why it's so important, and how to make it work for you so that you don't just understand internally why this is, but you actually use the knowledge from this episode and you apply it to your life in a way that creates amazing results for you personally. At the end of the day, I'm not just sitting here to have a podcast for fun. Yes, I'm a yapper. I love talking. I could talk to a wall. But the purpose of me putting it out here, talking to you, is so that you can listen to it, you can take this advice, and please don't take my word for it. Apply it generously to your life so that you can have any result that you want. You can have the financial situation that you want. You can have the body that you want. You can have the relationship that you want. Please don't take my words and just take my word for it, right? Actually apply this to your life. Use it. Please take full advantage of the free game. So first of all, I've got to answer the question. What is the most valuable commodity that you have as a reality creator? Well, you probably already saw it from the title, but it's your attention. Why do I say this? Let's take a look at it for a second. Let's take a look at the state of our life and how we can even see that this is true before I even say it from my own mouth. There's almost like a secret war going on. And it's a little bit sensationalist to call it a war, but come with me here. If you go out into life, or if you look around at your surroundings, you will see that there is a constant battle for your attention. Companies compete paying millions and billions of dollars to get a fraction of your attention. People on social media do wild things, not just for clout, but for your attention. Maybe even people in your life personally do things just to get your attention. Attention is a type of currency. And until you learn to use your attention for your own good, you are the product. Why do you think companies pay so much money to have an ad that's a minute long? Because everyone is competing for your attention. Until you learn how to make your attention work for you, you become the product. You become a means for other people to get their dream life. Until you learn how to use your attention for your own good, you are at the mercy of everyone else, anyone else but you. When you don't know how to use your attention for good, you end up creating random things in your life, things that kind of work for you, maybe not so much, or maybe even you create things that totally do not work for you. You create madness in your life. One of the big ways that people give their attention away and they feel pain because of it is by giving it away to the news. They'll spend all of their attention on the news, and the result of that is that they feel stressed out. They feel like something is always going wrong. If you're watching this, I'm sure you know people like this. They spend way too much of their attention directed at the news, and they start attracting crazy things in their life because that's exactly how they've patterned their attention. Whether or not there's some truth to what's actually happening in the news is sensationalized, and it has been since probably the beginning of news. And paying attention to dramatized, sensationalized, doomsday stuff like that does have an impact on your reality. And you know these paranoid types that I'm talking about. That's an extreme example, but there's a lot of other subtle ways that we give our attention away, our greatest commodity, and we end up creating things in our life that are less than ideal. So you have a clear, vivid picture of this. I love to use this example. Imagine that your attention is like a green laser that comes out of your forehead. Like literally, it is a full laser. It points out of your head, and whatever you put your attention on, it grows. So you could think about an event, and the event grows, it gets closer to you. You could think about a goal. The goal grows and gets closer to you. You think about your plant. Your plant grows and gets closer to you. And if you think about this magical laser, and you can picture that, so it doesn't really matter what you're wanting to happen. Say you don't like the plant. Well, you put your laser on the plant, it's growing anyways. So with this example, you can kind of see if it's the magical laser of attention. It doesn't matter if you're putting your attention on something because you don't like it. You're still putting your attention on it, and it's going to cause it to grow. Putting it in physical terms like that, maybe you can see the process of creation with attention. So let's think about this for a minute. If we're going with the example of the green laser coming out of your head, what are you actually putting that on in a day-to-day basis? Well, a lot of stuff. You would be amazed by the amount of thoughts that we have in a day. It's like millions and millions and millions of thoughts. There's going to be no way to control every thought that we have. But an interesting part is a lot of your thoughts are repeat thoughts. They say about 90% of your thoughts are thoughts that you thought from the day before and the day before that. So what ends up happening is on a day-to-day basis with what we get habitually used to, right? So everyday sort of thing, we're putting our attention and we're maintaining our attention in this specific way. This is what creates your reality. If you're constantly maintaining your attention in a very specific way, you've created your life in a very specific way, and that's what creates your reality. But if you were to have something happen that changed your perspective from the inside out, changed what you put attention on, by you paying attention habitually in a different way than you are normally used to, you would create a whole other reality and live in a new paradigm because you're now habitually seeing the world through a different lens. That lens is going to be the key of how you actually get that end result. So let's get more specific. I say, okay, your paradigm shifts. So people think, okay, like for example, scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. So let's use that as an example. It's not to just say, okay, let's put our magical attention laser onto money. It's a little bit more complex than this because you know a lot of people who talk about money, why aren't they all rich? It's about what aspect you're actually putting attention on. If you're putting attention on the lack or the abundance, that's going to make all of the difference. If you're putting attention on the feeling of not having money, yeah, you're focusing on money, you're focusing on the desire of money, which desire implies lack, which is still you're focusing on money, but you're focusing on the desire, which would cause the desire to grow. As desire grows, what do you have less of? The actual result. So it's more specific than just putting it on something. You want to put it on the feelings, the thoughts, the emotions of actually being in the situation that you claim to want. So with the example of money, okay, well, if you're changing up your attention, that would be super weird. Okay, what might my life look like if I did have the result of money? Okay, instead of putting my attention on fear when I'm approaching the cashier, maybe I would just be appreciating the cashier. Maybe I would be looking at my phone. What would I be doing? Okay, maybe I'd be appreciating that I can buy something. So now that you go to the cashier, you start appreciating that you can buy something. Now you're putting that attention on havingness. And what does havingness imply? Abundance. You see how both were focused on money, but one was actually focused on lack and one was focused on abundance. Another way you might be misusing your attention, beyond just thinking in negativity terms, there's a lot of ways that you can misuse your attention. And I talked about companies fighting for your attention. It's because it makes them money. When you're spending time on YouTube, when you're spending time on TikTok, when you're spending time on socials, it makes people money. So their game is, how can we take so much of their attention and make it so good that they want to spend their time here, they're getting some enjoyment out of it, so we can maintain their attention for the longest time possible. This is why some people end up spending hours on social media, hours on Netflix even, movies, shows, entertainment. Well, that comes from just lacking energy in yourself to be able to focus on the things that you want to focus on, when you could be putting that attention on something for your life instead of something that just kind of takes away. So when you are putting your attention on an outside source, a source of entertainment, of course that's going to be enjoyable sometimes. But ask yourself what's really helpful to you, and if the exchange of your attention is really that worth it to you. Sometimes it is worth it. Let's hang out, let's watch a movie, let's have fun. I'm not saying, hey, throw out your phone. We live in 2024. Sometimes when you're watching something, the exchange isn't that valuable to you. Sometimes your attention could be worth so much more if you're focused on a project, if you're focused on cleaning your business, whatever the case may be. You need to know what your attention is worth to you. And having that is having priorities. And when you know your priorities, you can say, okay, what is my attention worth to me? I've got these priorities and I want to focus on having them completed. And so you can start to direct your attention to the priorities. And when something is kind of steering you off path, okay, is this trade-off worth it right now? Yes, no, maybe so, but at least you know your priorities. We'll get back to the priorities in a little bit. But another way of people misusing their attention is by thinking about either the future or the past. So a lot of times, like I said, your thoughts repeat. You end up wasting a lot of energy thinking about things from the past because you're trying to process them emotionally, which is very good to process them. But if you don't know how to process, you end up thinking about them over and over and over and over and over again until one day you get so tired of it, you repress it in your subconscious. So something needs to be done there. If that's you, you need to fully bring it up. There's a tendency to want to keep subconscious things subconscious, but living like this is not going to be to your benefit. So bring it up and be with it until you're not holding on to it anymore. And another way people do this is by paying attention to the future, worries about the future. And this kind of goes back to having priorities. If you have a clear intention, if you have a willingness, there's less to worry about with the future. You know, oh, am I going to have money? This is kind of stressful. But if you're willing to your financial goals, if you're 100% committed, that fear kind of goes away. So it can be beneficial to list out some of the things that from the past that's bothered you, that still subconsciously might be bothering you, and process that. And think about some of the worries for the future that might be bothering you, and list out your goals and your priorities so that you can feel a little bit more secure that you are getting there and you are making sure to attend to what you need to be doing. I would say the number one way that people misuse their attention is by maintaining it on what they do not want. That kind of goes back to the abundance versus scarcity I was talking about. And when you have a problem, most people's initial reaction is, okay, let's focus on the problem. Like let's get to the root of the problem. Let's figure out the problem. But as much time as you spend on the problem, you want to spend at least that much time on the solution, and even more on the solution if you want to actually live the solution. So say it was weight loss, for example. If you're feeling really fat, you want to also put your attention on the result that you want. How is that going to get you anywhere if you're feeling fat every single day? You're feeling the overweight, you're feeling that you're overeating, you're feeling like ick, versus maintaining and shifting your attention slowly to what you prefer. Feeling fit, feeling light, feeling happy, feeling energized during the day, feeling confident in how you look, feeling sexy. And this is a huge jump from feeling icky to feeling fantastic, right? So a lot of people can't just snap their attention that way, and it might cause problems to do that. So what you need to do is slowly start shifting to what you prefer. And the more that you pay attention to what you prefer, the easier it comes to you, because what you put your focus on expands. If that's all you get from this episode, let it be this: what you put your attention on expands. What you put your focus on expands. What you put your attention on expands. So with anything that bothers you in life, you need to figure out your happy opposite. Okay, if you're feeling really tired, what's your happy opposite? Okay, feeling energized and feeling lively. You can start to put your attention on that. So rule 1, figure out what you want instead. And this goes back to setting intentions, being clear, setting priorities, but it is the most important foundational step that I could tell you to have. If you don't know what you want to focus on, someone else is going to pick it out for you. Let me say that again. If you don't choose what to focus on, someone else is going to pick for you. It is so important that you get clear on the basic level of what you want in your life. I'm not asking you to pick out the dream house windowsill on the 3rd floor. You don't have to know everything, but you want to get clear on what you do want feeling-wise, what you do want emotionally, what you want to see, kind of the direction that you want to take, so that you can start to put your attention on. Because like I said, what you put your attention on expands. So number 1 is having priorities, having intentions. Number 2 is starting to slowly put your attention on what you prefer. So for a lot of people, going from feeling like crap to feeling fantastic, that's a huge jump, and it's like a snap in attention, and it's unlikely that someone genuinely is able to just go over to what their preferred intention is, right? So that's where you can kind of use this amazing tool that I'm about to teach you. And this is like a foundation of consciousness. If you know this, you're good for the rest of your life, really. Your subconscious naturally leans towards the result that is preferred and supports your life. So you can give your subconscious the negative result and then the positive result, the old outdated belief and the preferred positive intention over and over again. And then you can watch yourself naturally start to choose the positive intention. So if you're feeling really tired one day, you might feel into this tiredness in your body because you don't want to just push it out. You don't want to resist it, because what you resist persists. You can feel this tiredness and then put your attention back on what you prefer. And then you can feel this tiredness and then put your attention back on what you prefer. And as you do this in your body, you're going to start to subconsciously shift your attention to what you prefer, so that you can continually and maintain and habitually put your attention on what you prefer, so that it's unconscious. When you start to unconsciously have your attention on something, that is what makes it a reality. That is what makes it a result for you. If you're asking, okay, well, where do I put my attention on? Start with what's not working in your life. If you have something that is not working in your life, you know that you're maintaining attention in a way that is not working from you. Work from the bottom up. Okay, what's not working? This area is not working. Okay, then what must I be focusing on to believe that? Ask yourself, who would believe that? What must I be focusing on to make that a reality, to make that true? And instead of focusing on that, focus on the preferred positive intention. Asking it in that way can help you figure it out more. What might someone believe in order for that to be their experience? Because that kind of takes the pressure off of you a little bit, imagining it as someone else, and you're more clearly able to see it unconsciously. If something is truly a desire from the heart, it will be exciting to you to put your attention on it. It'll be thrilling. It'll bring a smile to your face. And that's a good way to know if this is a desire of the heart or not. If you close your eyes, take a deep breath, and imagine it, and a smile comes to your face, you know that's a wholesome and good path. If you close your eyes and you imagine it and it sounds good and you feel like it would be good, but you don't really feel that fulfillment, you know exactly what that path has for you. The success is in the seed. If you can feel it right now, you know that you'll feel that as you get deeper into the path. But if from the get-go, you're imagining it and you're not feeling anything light up, you know, hey, it might not be the most wholesome path to follow. Once you know what you want to put attention on, like I said, it'll feel good. And you can literally take this and run with it. I've created things super fast by just knowing this alone. What can you do now that you know what you want to put attention on? You can literally start to live from that. You can literally start to put it into every single thing that you do. Okay, if this was the case, how would that version of myself be? What would they be paying attention to? What would they be doing? Like, would they dress differently? Would they talk differently? Would they do something else? What would they smell like? What would they sound like? And now you are changing your attention completely and radically from where it is now. You can write down visualizations like from that experience. That will put you in there super fast, scripting things, writing things down, putting yourself in the reality that you really want to put your attention on, that your preferred reality. And then visualization. If you know how to visualize, if you have a little bit of imagination, you can take this and run with it. Instead of waiting for someday to feel your preferred reality, someday I'll get there, someday I'll be wealthy and feel free. No, stop putting off to tomorrow what you could experience today. If you truly want to experience something in your life, the worst possible thing that you could do is say, okay, one day I'll have it. No, there's no such thing as time. There's no such thing as limitation. Experience it in the now. All you have to do is close your eyes, experience it as you having it now. Whatever you want to experience in the 3D, experience it in your mind's eye. It will have the same effect on your body. You will feel the fulfillment now. There's no point in waiting for it because it genuinely feels the same if you know how to imagine, if you know how to visualize. And when you align your inner emotional state to what you really want, your end goal, it's inevitable that it happens because you're aligning yourself energetically with what you want, and you start to attract it like endlessly. You start to attract it from everywhere. When you fully immerse yourself in that vibration, it's inevitable that you not get it. You're literally like you're living from it. You are it at that point. And when you put your attention fully on something, you become it. That is why your attention is your greatest commodity. And it's why you need to protect your attention at all costs. It's why people pay for your attention. It's why they pay for ads to steal hours of your attention, because it is such a precious commodity. So really the basic steps here are to know what you want, know the direction, the feelings, the thoughts, the emotions, so that you can start to focus on them. Start to bring it into your reality. Focus on the objection, what is not working, what you want to get rid of, but then also redirect your attention to what you prefer. Once you start catching yourself in what you don't want, repeat right then and there what you do want. And then maybe go back to it and then repeat what you do want. And once you get to that point, you're golden. And then from there, immerse yourself in what you prefer. Start living from it. And when you get to that point, it is inevitable that what you prefer becomes your habitual reality. You are a divine creator who can create anything for your life, whether it be millions and millions and millions or a small little paperclip. You have the power to manifest and create things out the wazoo. So please use your power for good, and remind yourself of who you are, and know that your attention is your greatest commodity. The last thing I want to leave you with is, throughout your day, you can ask yourself, what am I paying attention to now? And even more powerful, what do I want to be paying attention to? Maybe if you have to write this down, write it down. Maybe if you have to set an alarm, set a timer, do it. But this is the most powerful question you can ask yourself if you want to create your dream life, because it all starts with what you are paying attention to now. Thanks for tuning into this episode. I hope it was helpful to you. I hope it was of service. I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart to the bottom of yours, and I will see you next time. Bye. Mwah.